Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. The Washington Post motto is "Democracy dies in darkness." Rather than being a warning, this appears to be their goal. On July 25th, they ran this article: "Extreme Summer. Yellowstone is this town's golden ticket. Climate change risks that." On June 13th, torrential rains intensified by the burning of fossil fuels turned the tributary into a furious rush of water that swept the road away. So the implication is that extreme rainfall is increasing at Yellowstone National Park. It's easy enough to check that out. Let's take a look at the data. This graph shows every single rainfall event at Yellowstone National Park since 1904. There's no data after May 27th of this year because the Park Service hasn't updated it. There's no indication of any kind of trend in rainfall at Lake Yellowstone. They've had 14,473 precipitation events since 1904, with an average of 0.15 inches. Since 1904, Lake Yellowstone has had 92 precipitation events over 1 inch. There's no indication of any trend in heavy rainfall events at Lake Yellowstone. This article has no scientific or historical basis, and the Washington Post has been doing the same thing for at least 34 years. In 1988, NASA's James Hansen started the global warming scare before Congress. There were large forest fires in Yellowstone that summer, which were of course blamed on global warming. On September 4th, 1988, the Washington Post ran this incredible article. The Washington Post: "The year is 2035. In New York, palm trees line the Hudson River from 125th Street to the Midtown exit. Phoenix is in its third week of temperatures over 130 degrees, and the project to cover the city with air-conditioned domes is still unfinished. Holland is underwater. Bangladesh has ceased to exist. Torrential rains and rising seas there have killed several million people and forced the remaining population into makeshift refugee camps." There's no indication that palm trees are going to appear in Manhattan anytime soon. Phoenix's hottest temperature occurred 18 years ago, and Phoenix's longest heat wave over 110 degrees occurred in 1974 during the Ice Age scare. Bangladesh is okay now, but in 1974 they nearly did cease to exist during the Ice Age scare. And Darwin, Australia did disappear in 1974 after it was struck by Cyclone Tracy, also during the Ice Age scare. The hottest place in Arizona is Parker, and they had their all-time record temperature of 127 degrees in 1905. Everything in this Washington Post article about climate from 1988 was fake news. And nothing has changed. Their articles 34 years later are fake news as well. Yellowstone National Park has recovered very nicely from the 1988 fires. In fact, the ecosystem there is much healthier now than it was in 1988. In 1988, decades of government fire suppression had caused the forest to become severely overgrown. The burn area from the 1988 fire looks very beautiful now. Lodgepole pine forest depends on very hot forest fires. It's the only way their cones can open up and release their seeds. Forest fires are essential for Yellowstone National Park, and government fire suppression is the worst thing they can do to the forest. This graph shows all days over 80 degrees Fahrenheit at Lake Yellowstone since 1904. There's no trend in warm days at Yellowstone since 1904, and their warmest day occurred in 1913. 1913 is also the summer when the world record and U.S. record temperature of 134 degrees was set at Death Valley. Let's look at the current climate of Wyoming. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the Air Force Thunderbirds are starting an exhibition. But we can't see them because it's cloudy and cold and the city is covered with dense fog. We're not having anything resembling a climate crisis here in Wyoming. The Washington Post prints the same fake news over and over again, year after year, decade after decade. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on these scamsters in the press and academia for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie Caesar, Toki Nupala on the web at realclimatescience.com.